Hello, everyone, and welcome into Senior Living Live. My name is Melissa. As always, I hope you are having a fantastic day today. Our upcoming webinar, Steps to Take to Help Sell Your House, is a good one, no matter what time of year you plan to put your home on the market. Joanne Rancich has all the tips and tricks to help make selling your house simple and as hassle-free as possible. She is with me today and will be available to answer all of your questions on how to sell your house, tips, tricks, as we mentioned, in her upcoming webinar, May 26th at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Good morning, Joanne. How are you?
Good morning, Melissa. I'm well. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Now, this time of year in the summertime, it is the hottest time of the year, spring, summer, to get your home on the market. So if you're thinking about it, people need to tune into your webinar. We're going to give them a little bit more information as to why they need to be a part of this webinar. But first, let's tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay. I am from the Chicago area, born and raised here. I am a mom of 4 now adult children, which doesn't seem possible. And I come from a large extended family. So I was blessed to grow up with 3 grandparents, and I lost my first of those 3 when I was 30 years old. So I have been around seniors for a very long time. I actually have a great aunt who is 104 years old, who still lives in her own home.
Wow.
So this whole senior market for real estate is really near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, understood. And I love it when people come on the show and they have that kind of personal experience. You have the professional, you have the personal, and I think the two together are just a dynamic duo. And I know you're going to help so many people out. So what are some of the common issues that come up when seniors begin that process of making a move, say, from their own home that they've been in for decades to a senior living community? And what are the concerns you're hearing, and how have you been able to help?
I would say the biggest concern is one word, and it is stuff. What do I do with all my stuff? And it is an overwhelming process because so many seniors have been in their homes for a very long time. And we all have a lot of stuff. And as we age, we tend to think, oh, well, I'll get rid of that, or I'll go through that. And then we lose mobility, or it's in the basement and we don't think about it. And so it does get harder as we get older. And then it becomes overwhelming. And so as that happens, I think we put off that process even longer. And so what we like to do at Presto is really try to start at the top and not worry so much about the stuff, but pick where they want to go. Think about the move, whether it's just to downsize or if it's to what we call safe size, in terms of no more stairs, fewer steps, whatever it is, or if it is into a community, less social isolation, that sort of thing, and get them with whatever it takes into that new community. And we separate them from their stuff. And it's a lot easier to deal with once they're in the community with the stuff they want, and we can take care, or someone can take care of everything that's left behind.
Understood. Okay. Yeah. And that is, it is just an overwhelming task for so many people, even when you haven't collected a ton of stuff over decades and decades. So I can only imagine if someone's been in their home for 30 years, they're trying to figure out what to take, what not to take. It is incredibly difficult to make those decisions. And that's why you are a great help when you come into play. So now, say someone says, you know what, I've got the stuff taken care of. I've got family. I was able to give everything away. No problem there. But I want to sell my home quickly. And so I would have to imagine with that low inventory that we've been hearing about, we've been seeing in the housing market over the past year or so, especially now during the summer months, that has helped people in terms of making that quick sale. Sometimes it's almost too fast. That process can be overwhelming. So what would your advice be to those who want to sell quickly in this particular market?
That remember, in a seller's market, the seller is in the driver's seat. So that gives the seller a lot of power. So you may want to sell it quickly, but you can then negotiate different terms of the contract. You may not want to close for 6 weeks or 2 months. Or you may need that cash in your pocket, but you may want to live in the house for an additional 30 days to be able to clear it out. And when it's a buyer's market, you don't have that flexibility. So if you are thinking about it, now is the time. And so, again, you get to put the parameters that are most agreeable to the situation you're in. And I will say, I've never seen a market like this. I've had 2 properties sell before they even went on the market. And the other 3 within 2 days had multiple offers. And, then the seller really gets to choose the offer that best meets their needs.
Sure. Yeah, it is a great time for sellers. That the question everybody has is, well, where am I going to go? So going back to your first point, make sure you know where you're going, because that sale could happen within 24 hours and you got to be ready for that. So
Yes.
excellent. Yeah, very good stuff there. So what are some things that our viewers can do right now if they're in that process to ensure that they're going to sell quick and they're going to get top dollar for their home? Should they stage the home? What are some things that they can do to ensure that all of those things are met?
Well, at Presto, we really do things differently. For the seniors, our focus is to get them in their new home before we even put that home on the market. And there's a number of reasons for that. A lot of the homes need a little bit of refreshing, whether that's new flooring, some painting, new light fixtures, and those are very, minimal, quick, cost-effective ways to get the most money in a sale in this market. And at the same time, it's easier on the senior. You don't have to worry about leaving your home every time there's a request for a showing. And right now, literally, they come, you put a home on the market, and within the first 2 hours, there could be 10 requests for showing. And they're all over the board. It could start at 8 o'clock and go till 7:30 at night. And that can be a real hassle, especially for somebody with mobility issues. And I really feel it's uncomfortable for buyers when a seller remains in the home for a showing. And it's uncomfortable for the seller as well. Nobody likes for their home to be insulted, if you will. And there's, somebody has opinions about everything. So the ideal situation is to have a senior in their new home, and then we tend to have it cleaned out, refreshed if necessary. And then we tend to sell the home vacant, empty. And if it does need to be staged, we do it virtually with pictures. 2 things, it's less expensive for the seller to do it virtually. And generally, as the real estate agent, I pay for the professional photography, and I pay to virtually stage it. It also gives the buyer the opportunity to see the space and picture their belongings in the space and see how big the room is and where the window is and where their couch would fit and how big the bedroom is and which wall a bed would go on and would their king size bed fit in it. And I think for the most part, it's a win-win for both the seller and the buyer.
Yeah, great. And I hadn't heard that tip before. Like as you said, with the way things are selling so quickly, go ahead and move into your new place and then work on that, almost like you're working backwards a little bit. But that is such a great piece of advice, because it is extremely inconvenient, having to pause, put your life on pause, literally, in your own home. Yeah, that's your safe place, if you will, to have all these strangers come in and out of your house. And so what a great tip. I love that. So when we talk about going back to the downsizing portion of this, what are some of your favorite tips to do that? Because as we know, this proves to be a difficult task for everybody, but especially for our seniors.
Yes. One is I would recommend is to try to get some help. If you have friends, family, grandchildren, neighbors, just set aside an hour or two a certain day of the week and ask somebody for help, and get 3 buckets or bins or boxes, and you're going to label them with D's: discard, donate, and deliver. And the deliver is something that you're going to give to someone else. And so we tend to try to put as little in discard. We want to reuse as much stuff that you have as possible. There's so much life left in these belongings. You may not see it, but if it doesn't give you joy anymore, or it's not useful to you, it is useful to someone else. There's so much need in this country, and I'm a huge proponent of giving it to a charity that then gives it to people in need. And I think that, at least for me, it gives me joy, but I think for a lot of seniors, it gives them joy knowing that someone else is enjoying the kitchen table that their family sat around for 30 years, that they had their, evening meals at. So, and it's very easy to do. And then you've got 3 distinct piles, and you have somebody help get it to a charity. Some of these charities will come to your home and pick the stuff up, pick the furniture up. And there are some, they have regulations and they need pictures sometimes, but there are senior move managers in communities across the country that will help seniors do this sort of thing. And there are, in the Chicago area, I just heard of this Restoration Ministries that will come and get the stuff from you. There's one around me, Sharing Connections, that started in a garage, and now they'll come. It's all volunteers, and they pick the furniture up and they give it away to people in need. So
yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that some of these charities will come pick up. That's huge. It's easy. You make a phone call, somebody comes to your door. But I like the 3Ds. That is excellent. That is exactly what we're looking for in this webinar. Now, if somebody wants to contact you, they have more questions before this webinar even hits May 26th, how can they reach you and your company?
So Presto Real Estate Services we're located in Naperville, Illinois, but we serve lots of areas and we have lots of referrals. My personal cell phone number is 630-222-6662. And the 800 number for the office is 800-495-1120. And my email address is joanne@prestorealestate.com. And of course, the company website is prestorealestate.com.
Yeah, so if you're watching this and maybe you can't catch the webinar because you're moving,
Hopefully you are.
That would be great. So you've got all of Joanne's information. Joanne Rancich, this is going to be great. Our viewers are going to have a chance to ask you questions, which is the beauty of all of these webinars that we do. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for the time, Melissa.
Absolutely. Now, if you want to watch this webinar, you want to be a part of the webinar, come on over, join us. Head on over to our website. There you can RSVP. Head on over to www.seniorlivinglive.com. While you are there, feel free to check out all of our content. It's all about senior living, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the best part, it is all free. We hope to see you all again on May 26th.